Hey guys, how's it going out there? Welcome to the Vintage Sanctuary. Speaking of which, how much vintage have I shown on my channel lately? You've seen Barry Bonds refractors, you've seen parallels of the 2022 Topps Aaron Judge, and maybe a smattering of vintage. Well, today, I have obtained, it just came in the mail today, a vintage card that I have wanted for quite a while, but I just could not pull the trigger. They do not come up that often, but I could not pull the trigger because of the greasy, creasy, moldy, pathetic condition of these cards. Or some of you might say the glorious condition of these cards. These are cards that only a mother could love, and probably most of you, because you're a lot of you are just crazy vintage collectors. In fact, some of you, when it comes to the 1954 Dan-Dee potato chip issue, some of you specifically want those cards to have plenty of grease, and they have like a black mold, I think. So maybe these are cards. Here's a case you've never heard before, I just thought of, for getting your card graded. You don't want that black mold spreading, into your walls. It could be an incredibly expensive repair. So for the 54 Dan-Dee potato chip card, you might want to consider, for those cards, you might want to consider getting those professionally graded. If you have them around, ungraded, or at least get those puppies, get them secure in one touches or whatever you're using. I guess they're a little bit oversized, or with plastic sleeves over those bad boys. Well, I am keeping you in some suspense. Let me read a little bit about the Dan-Dee set, and then we will look at my new card, which I'm super stoked to share with you. This is an article in Sports Collectors Daily from Rich Mueller, January 17 of 2022. I'm going to take some liberties and skip parts of it and ad-lib a little bit. So if you lived in parts of Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Western New York in the 1950s, you probably knew about them. That was the region where Dan-Dee potato chips were distributed. If you loved sports, you probably begged mom to buy a certain brand of potato chips one summer. Hey, what kind of a sexist article is this? Don't real men buy potato chips? Come on now. The 54 Dan-Dee baseball set put one baseball card inside each bag of greasy goodness. Today, it's one of the most desirable food issue sets of the post-war era. So when we think about baseball cards, they were, associated with tobacco pre-war. I know very little bit about that, and then came to be associated with bubblegum and candy, caramel, that sort of thing. But now we're talking potato chips, and right there in the bags, hyaloized potato chips. I looked that up. I don't even know what it means. Might have something to do with wood. I tried to find out. So if any of you know what hyaloized means, like maybe there was, I don't know, smoke from burning wood was used to kind of, add to the flavor of the chips, or maybe I'm just way off base. Anyway, these cards just, talk about having condition issues. They were already creased and greased big time, and they're a relatively thin stock, before you even got them out of the bag, and then the kids, tormented them after that. So good luck finding, high grades, at reasonable prices too, for that matter. The Dan-Dee pretzel and potato chip company started in 1913, and 4 decades later, in 1950s, the company was still at it. With post-war America booming with young baseball fans, they more than likely decided the time was right for a special summer promotion. So they decided to put them right in the chip bags. So when the chips are down, what do? You grab that, you grab that Dan-Dee potato chip card right out of there. I should have been a motivational speaker. When the chips are down, grab that Dan-Dee right out of the bag and love it, regardless of the condition it's in. Well, I couldn't do it. I tried to buy one, but I couldn't bring myself to do it until recently. These cards, again put right into the chip bags, led to much frustration on the part of collectors in later years who paid more attention to condition than youngsters did in the 1950s. None of the cards were numbered, which likely kept kids guessing whether they owned anything close to a complete set. Some had facsimile autographs on the front in a box containing the player's name, while most did not, and the backs contained the usual player's bio. Biographical information focused mostly on players who toiled for teams in the company's snack distribution area. There were 14 Cleveland players, so a lot of Cleveland Indians, including Bob Feller, 8 Pittsburgh Pirates, and 7 players from various other teams, including the New York Yankees and Brooklyn Dodgers, and of course, Mickey Mantle. Now, he was under contract with Bowman in 54. That's why he does not have a 54 tops. So I think the Dan-Dee Potato Chip Company, I don't think they got, well, they didn't have him under contract. So this is a, what would you call that? It's not legit in that regard. They didn't have him under contract. Maybe, maybe Bowman just let it go and said, we're not going to worry about it, or I don't know. Anyway, for a small set, the 1954 Dan-Dee baseball issue is packed with players who eventually made the Hall of Fame. So there are 29 cards in the set. 11 are enshrined in Cooperstown. It says, not for the mint freak. The cards were printed on thin stock, and the edges look a little odd the way they were cut. They sort of have these little knobs or whatever, but that was part of the cutting method. A lot of miscuts. And, of course, just the grease and the staining and the creasing. And anyway, I think they went out of business in 2018, I believe. They were sold at some point, but they kept the Dan-Dee name. Anyway, without further ado, enough on that. Let me turn this camera around and let's check this out. All right, I've still got you in suspense. But time for the big reveal. Are you ready? The 1954 Dan-Dee Potato Chips, Larry Doby, in a Fantastic Four. I mean, this is absolutely glorious. Absolutely glorious. Little stain right there by the end of my thumb. But that is, for this card, that doesn't even count. Doesn't even count. I mean, check out how spectacular. I am becoming more of a fan even, a huge fan of Larry Doby. I think this is my fifth card of Larry Doby. I thought about showing all of my Dobies. This would seem like, a great time to do it. But I thought I'm just going to focus on this one card. I mean, what do you think? I mean, what can be more nostalgic than a food and beverage issue? Well, food issue from 1954, scarce card. This one is absolutely insanely glorious. I mean, I am on cloud Gem Mint 4. I mean, this is so sweet. All right, everybody. Thank you for sharing in my joy. I hope you had a wonderful and peaceful time in the Vintage Sanctuary.